second scenario in a Warlords of Erewhon set of skirmish scenarios for the Greyhawk Shieldlands. When last we met, the Knights soundly defeated the Gnolls in Redwater and gathered what quick provisions they could, and weapons and more supplies, and chased after the Gnolls. And now for the second battle after the struggle at Redwater, both forces, both the disciplined Shieldland Knights and the savage Blood Moon Gnolls, they pursued one another into the desolate volcanic badlands northeast of White Plume Mountain. This is a scarred landscape of ash dunes, basalt ridges, sinkholes, and sulfur vents. It's feared by all the locals and the Knights as well. As you can see here, we got the table laid out. This is a new table I made for this scenario. The Gnolls flee with stolen goods towards White Plume Mountain, towards the Plume Road, a cracked trail used long ago by those foolish enough to approach Craptus, the White Plume Mountain. The Knights ride hard to catch after the Gnolls before they vanish in the labyrinth of steam vents and ash basins within. And now, this is the Gnolls' last stand. As you can see here. A few other things. We'll go over all the terrain for this scenario, because there's a lot to pack with this terrain. It's going to have an effect on both sides and how they move about. And then we'll discuss the two forces, the force that's going to be going into here and onto the Scalded Crossroads. So now the Gnolls and the Knights are converging on a key intersection of crackstone ridges known as the Scalded Crossroads. It's surrounded by geysers and unstable ash fields. So these are all the geysers here. We'll go over all this terrain in a moment. We'll discuss what each piece brings to the table. But the Gnolls have established themselves here at this marker at the crossroads. They're here. This is their last hoorah, if you will. This is it for them. They stand and fight or die where they're standing. So the table, so we're going to do some bookkeeping real quick. One of the things that we need to talk about is the Knights, okay? The Knights from Redwater have gained honor. Earl Guilford and Sir Cratch's unit in particular. So we have Guilford's Cavalier unit. They routed the archers. They got 2 honor points for that. Cratch's Cavalier routed the warrior unit, a no warrior unit. He got 2 points for that, 2 honor points for that. The whole team, or if you will, all of Cratch's or Guilford's army gets honor points. They share the points. They were able to protect the church and the civilians within it because the Gnolls weren't able to break the door down. They gave them 1 honor point for that. And also Guilford's unit, Earl Guilford's unit, also routed Varric's unit himself, the warlord. And by doing so, they got 200 points for that. And of Father Abuziel's kill of the champion, of the Gnoll champion, awarded them an additional point. So they ended up getting 9 total honor points to be used for various things in the game. We can go over some of those things that they're used for. And I'll put a marker out for that to show they have 9 points. However, they got 9 points, but they lost a point because Yeoman Uther Spearman routed from the table with 7 men out of 10. So they had more than half of their unit remained and they still routed. So they lost an honor point for that. So that takes them down to 8 points. So our Knights have 8 honor points going into this scenario, the Ash Winds on the Plume Road. So they have 8 points to play with that they're going to be able to use. That takes pretty much care of the bookkeeping. And then we're going to go into the forces here. We've got some different units coming in this time. So the force is going to be running this scenario here. We're bringing in, of course we have Earl Guilford's unit, led by him and his 2 sons. We have Sir Cratch's unit will be back. Sir Cratch is back in action. We almost lost him last scenario. Yeoman Huff's archers are back, and there's going to be Yeoman Huff's archers and Yeoman Odo's archers joining the fray for this scenario. And we're going to be introducing some new units. We're going to be bringing in some sergeants. They're not foot knights, but they're known as, let me put this down here so I can get a nice, I'm gonna move my stuff here real quick. So joining us in this battle, let's set this back just a little bit more. See if I get everybody in picture here. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so we have Sergeant Olivard. He's a warrior unit. They're foot retainers. Sergeant Olivard's unit is, of course, Sergeant Olivard himself is tough. They all have medium armor, and they're all armed with swords. That's going to be Sergeant Olivard of Reynaud. And then we have Sergeant Otha's unit coming in with spears. He's tough, medium armor, and they're armed with spears. And he comes from the Shieldlands proper. Our other foot retainers are Sergeant Rundle. Sergeant Rundle's unit over here. Let's see if I can get him in there. Sergeant Rundle is more foot retainers. He's tough. They all have medium arms. They're armed with shields, and he yields from Greyhawk, this free city of Greyhawk. And then, of course, we have our we already said we have Earl Guilford's coming in, Sir Cratch's units coming in, Yeoman Huff, Yeoman Odo's archers, 2 10-man archers units. And they're armed with, by the way, the archers both units they're tough, and they have Deadeye, and they are armed with daggers and longbows. We have Father Abuziel's back with his 2 supplicants. He has a mace, a holy symbol. He has command. He also can issue orders to units as well. So he has a command, just like Earl Guilford does. He has divine intervention. He's wound 2. He's insufferably sanctimonious, which basically increases his toughness to 2. And he's a level 1 priest. For this scenario, he again is going to be bringing in the Bolt of Righteous Steel, a casting value of 7 for his spell. He only gets 1. And then we have Sergeant Gossett of East Forks. Where is he at? And Sergeant Gossett of East Fork. He's back. I think he's the one. He's won another night we almost lost. This unit, they have tough. They're heavily laden because of heavy armor. That's going to play a big part in the Ashlands here. And the whole unit is zealous. They ignore pins when taking break tests. So they can reroll a failed order test. And they're armed with swords. We have Sir Gerlig of Walworth down here. Sir Gerlig's unit. Sir Gerlig of Walworth. They're tough, heavily laden because of their heavy armor. They're armed with maces. They're also zealous. The entire unit is zealous. And we have, I think we went over Sergeant Otha and Sergeant Oliver and Sergeant Rundle, so they're all done. So that's the units for the knights. If I missed anybody, you could see them here. Once again, we go over the knights real quick. So we have 10 order dice altogether. And I also made a banner. I made a banner for the unit because we're going to need that for objectives in this scenario. Now, left at Redwater was these units were left behind to recover from all the damage and stuff that they took. So essentially, we have Sir Hale of Jensel. Where is he at? Sir Hale of Jensel's unit's going to stay back in Redwater. Who else? We have Sir Hodwish's unit is down a knight. They lost a knight, so their unit's under the 5 required for a unit. So they're recovering back in Redwater, and also all these yeomen and knights and stuff. They're helping in Redwater rebuild, and they keep an eye on their supply train and baggage trains and all that sort of thing as well. So then we have Sergeant Leake's long spears. Sergeant Leake of Axport's long spears are staying back. We have Sergeant Bernard's halberds. Where are they at? Sergeant Bernard. Bernard's halberds are staying back. We have Yeoman Utha's long spears. Yeoman Utha's long spears lost 5 men. I'm sorry, they lost 3 men. Yeoman Utha's long spears lost 3 men. So they're under strength from what they were. They're going to stay back and recover a little bit. Yeoman Hod's glaives, they lost the most. They lost a total of 3 yeomen in their unit, and they're staying back licking their wounds at Redwater as well. And then down here we haven't seen them yet, but Sergeant Nuntz's crossbowmen, Sergeant Nedwin's crossbowmen, and Yeoman Gal's 10-man peasant group. They're all staying back. All these units are staying back. And Creed the Mystic, we actually do have a wizard, a court wizard, if you will. He's staying back as well. He's probably making an appearance in the 3rd scenario, most likely. But this is the Shieldland Knights, the force that is going to be in reserve. They'll be back at Redwater, helping the town recover, building fortifications and such. So that's what's going on with the Shield Knights. For the Gnolls, let's go over here and take a look at the Gnolls. We also have 10 dice, 10 order dice for the Gnolls. We have a Packmaster here with his hyenas his back. Inmore the Desecrator. He's a Gnoll shaman with his 4 spirit hyena spirit guides. We have an 8-man Gnoll warrior unit armed with axes and shields, so they're lightly armored. We have a 5-man here. We have a 5-man archer unit of Gnolls, just normal bows, no long bows. We have I think this is a Gnoll guard unit with a 5-man Gnoll guard unit with huge swords. We have Packmaster Varric himself, Varric the Red-Eyed up front, and he has 2 new bodyguards with him. And coming along for this is our newest unit. I'll go around to the front to show you. We have three ogres that have been mercenary ogres who've been hired as muscle to build the group up for their last stand. We have a 6-man Gnoll warrior unit armed with swords and shields, so they're lightly armored. We have a small Gnoll stone thrower with 5 in attendance on this. On the stone thrower, it's going to play a big part. And then over here we have another 5-man unit of Gnoll archers, which is the same as the other. And they have all set up here. They've placed their banner upon this basalt outcropping, and they are pretty much approaching the crossroads. They've been established. We'll go around here and take a close look at them from the front. Here you can see them all, some of them behind the vent, all set up and ready to go to bring some pain upon the knights. The knights will come in like they did before. They'll be able to take a run or a sprint order onto the table. And we'll go over the objectives right now. So we'll go over some key points to the scenario. And that is going to be, so we'll go over the table layout real quick before we get into the scenario. So what we have here is we have, these are basalt ridges that are here, 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 and over here, okay? The basalt ridges, they count as rough ground, and they're elevated, and they provide high ground, obviously, whether they are. Then we have the ash wastes, which is everything else except for the road, right? Everything else except for the road. This is the ash wastes, okay? This is the ash wastes, all this. And the ash wastes is considered difficult terrain, and they may hide sinkholes. There's going to be a random special environment rules being used each turn, okay? Then we have these geyser vents. These geyser vents are treated as blocking terrain, and there's a chance that they can erupt, okay? These geyser vents can erupt, and this is all related to White Plume Mountain, correct? This is the volcano. And these can erupt at any time. It's going to have a direct effect on the game. And because of the huge steam vents that are coming out, they block line of sight. These all block line of sight. So if anything goes, if the archery unit or somebody's trying to see through that, it completely blocks line of sight because I left them low deliberately, but these plumes go up real high, up into the sky, constantly. Okay. And then we have right. So let's go over the objectives real quick. The primary objective for both sides is, this is the primary objective for both sides, control of the scalded crossroads at the end of turn 6. So they need to control this center piece by the end of turn 6. One of the two units, skirmish armies, one of the two armies. And a side controls the crossroads if they have at least one unit of 6 inches of the center marker, which I'll put down, and there's no enemy units within 6. Okay, and I'll put a marker down right there. Just a moment, let me go grab one. Okay. There we go. Now, there's secondary objectives. Okay, the Shieldland Knights, as a secondary objective, they have to recover a holy relic that was taken from Redwater. A knightly relic once lost in this wasteland lies atop one of the basalt ridges, which is going to be back here. It's going to be back on this ridge here. Okay, we'll put a marker there in a moment. A knight unit must spend 1 activation in contact to retrieve it. The unit takes an ambush order, basically how this will go down. He'll take an ambush order, testing if he's pinned. You have to make the order test. If he succeeds, he can pick up the objective. If he fails, the unit goes down and cannot retrieve the objective until the following turn. And then it follows the normal procedures when a unit goes down in Warlords of Erewhon. The Blood Moon Gnolls, they have to mark the rocks with blood. So the Blood Moon Gnolls are going to be over here, and their objective is going to be upon this basalt ridge. They have to place their marker, which is here, okay, which is their marker. They have to place that upon this ridge, on this outcropping, okay? And a Gnoll unit must spend a full activation, just like the Knights, using the same procedure, atop the other ridge, performing a savage ritual, okay? And a unit it'll take an ambush order, testing if it's pinned. Success means it can place the marker. If it fails, it goes down and can't do it again until the next turn, and it follows the normal procedures for going down. So they have to mark this with blood. Okay. That's the secondary objectives. Now we have some special rules. Okay. We have some special rules for this scenario, okay? So the Knights have the advantage of momentum, as seen here, right? Advantage of momentum, okay? What that means is because they won the last battle, whichever side won the scenario one gains, they get 2 activations on their first turn instead of 1, and that's used it's used once. I put a marker for that. And +1 to their morale +1 morale for their commander, which is Earl Guilford, for the first 3 turns. There's a special rule in effect for this scenario for the Gnolls. They have Pursuer's Fury. Whichever side lost scenario 1, they gain Driven Charge. Failed first order test may be re-rolled, so they can re-roll the first failed order test as marked here. We'll take that off the card when they use it. And no time to bleed. First pin their warband receives is ignored. The first pin's ignored. And then once these 2 special rules are used up, of course, they're gone. And we also have some special environmental rules. So we have the Ash Drift hazard. At the start of each player's turn, choose 1 unit in the ash wastes. So that's this stuff here. That's when you're not on the road and you're not on an outcropping, but you're down here actually on the board proper, okay? As you can see here, like the board proper and stuff. At the start of each player's turn, choose 1 unit in the ash wastes, which is difficult terrain. I roll d6. On a 1, the ground shifts beneath them, and the unit gains a pin. Okay. Special rule number 2, geyser fields. That's these things, right? Any unit within 3 inches of the geyser vent must test agility to run or charge. That's because Crepitus is constantly erupting, having minor earthquakes all through this area, which makes this whole piece of terrain unstable, especially the geyser vents. They can go off at any particular time. So any unit within 3 inches of these must test agility if they're going to run or charge all those geyser vents. It's going to be a real challenge for the Knights. The third environmental rule is the basalt ridges, right? So we have the basalt ridges. Standing atop these volcanic outcrops gives anybody on top of these outcrops +1 to shooting rolls, unless firing. What did I write here? +1 to shooting rolls. So when it's not unless, it's when firing downward at units, and they are. That's not right. It should be +1 shooting downwards off the top because it's high ground, right? So, and it's also rough ground to ascend or descend. Okay. That's that. And then for our starting on turn 2, we have some special rules going to be starting up in round 2. These all are reflecting this horrible place that they're fighting in. So the following do not involve fire, flame, or smoke. They represent ash, steam, tremors, or magical anomalies common to the White Plume Mountain region, right? You roll a d6. On a 1 or 2, ash drift collapse. A patch of ash crust gives way. One non-mounted unit chosen at random must pass an agility test or be slowed. The movement gets half this turn. A steam burst on a 3 or 4. A geyser vent releases a silent high-pressure column of superheated steam. Units within 3 inches take a pin. One of these things goes off, and every unit within 3 inches is going to take a pin. And Carepitus's echo, 5 or 6. A strange magical vibration emanates from the mountain. Closest unit gains a single re-roll for any melee roll this turn. You have to accept the second result. So very interesting. It's good to see how this plays out. The Knights might have a little bit of trouble trying to run across this terrain, doing their normal charges and stuff. This is going to be a challenge for them, and we will see how this plays out. So the victory conditions for the scenario. Victory conditions are pretty straightforward. Just like before, you have a major victory is control. The Knights' major victory will be to. A major victory is control the crossroads and complete your secondary objectives. Okay. A minor victory will be control the crossroads alone, and then a draw will be neither side holds the crossroads. And that's pretty much it for the special rolls. And we're going to go put that marker down for the. We're going to put the marker down over here for the Knight's Holy Relic that's sitting here. So let me get a marker for that. The Sun Shard of St. Arn. We'll put that right here. The Sun Shard of St. Arn. The Sun Shard of St. Arn, it's an ancient fragment of polished sunstone once carried by a paladin of St. Arn during the Battle of the Fiery Fields. Lost centuries ago, in the White Plume Badlands, it radiates unwavering courage. Knights believe it was originally part of a larger devotional icon shattered during the Iridian Crusades. The relic is housed in a brass and silver reliquary the size of a fist, and it can be carried by a chosen knight. Now, here's the thing: there's only this particular type of bearer for this relic that can be used. So it's a unique holy item, and it's for knights only. It must be a knight commander, or a paladin type hero in the Shieldlands warband. It cannot be carried by cavalry mounts or war horses separately. So it has to be considered as being carried by the rider. And it has some special abilities that can, once it's taken up by a knight, and we'll go over that if it gets recovered as a secondary objective. First objective, of course, is going to be the control the crossroads, and then the Gnolls have their secondary objective is to conduct a bloody ritual on this ridge, which is the side where the Knights are coming in at. So they have to go across the field to get there. And that will be it for an introduction to this. Once again, we're looking at a very deadly scenario here on these, within this area, near Carepitus, near White Plume Mountain and all its magical energies and environmental hazards. It's going to be really rough. This is the Gnolls' last stand. More will be discovered if this Gnoll force is defeated. If not, the Knights might have to regroup and take him out, and then they may have an additional scenario to finish up everything. But that's it. So let me get things cleared off here, and we will officially begin round one of Ash Winds on the Plume Road. Be right back. Okay, we're ready to begin round one of the Ash Winds on the Plume Road. Just a note, I replaced that marker over there with I threw a blue sun shard on top of it over here. Okay, well, here we go. We get the bag out here. I picked up the order dice. I got 10 order dice for the knights going in, 10 order dice for the gnolls. All right, here we go. On an added note, this is rough ground. These things are rough ground. Those outcroppings, you have to make an agility roll in order to continue their movement normally on these. So let's see what comes up first. First dice is knights. Okay, so we're going to go to the special rules for the knights. And one of the special rules is over here, this one. It's the advantage of momentum. You get 2 activations on their first turn instead of 1. So I took this out for the normal draw, and I'm taking another one out for this. So I get 2 activations. And I'm going to take this marker off and throw it out. So that's done. So I got 2 activations to bring onto the table. Well, you know who it's going to be, right? It's got to have to be Lord Guilford himself. And Guilford's unit is going to probably sprint onto the table. I don't know if they want to sprint. They may just run. I don't want to sprint them because they might get beat up. They don't want to get too close, right? There's a lot of Gnoll units up there. So I think what we're going to do is let me gather up these minis. Now this unit is going to be, they're going to be in difficult terrain. There's no avoiding it. So we're going to take those guys. Of course, we got Lord Guilford unit as a reminder. We have Lord Guilford, Sir Goslin, his first son. He's a Viscount. We have Sir Nodfrey, the second son. He's the Honorable Sir Nodfrey. Sir Ulick, the Marshal of Greyhawk, and Sir York, Constable of Warworth, outperformed themselves in the last go of it. So Guilford is tough 2, fast 8, warhorse, heavy armor, heavily laden, zealous, command, follow, wound 2, 3 hand-to-hand, and he has a sword and a lance. The other knights are fast 8, they have warhorses, they're heavily armored, they're heavily laden, but the warhorses take away the heavily laden roll, which means they can sprint. It takes away the heavily laden roll because of their armor. They got those big warhorses. The whole unit is zealous. They ignore pins when taking a break test. They get to reroll 1 failed test. They are armed with swords and lances, and then the 5 warhorses themselves for each of the knights. They're 1 hand-to-hand, strike value 1, and that's it. So we're going to bring them on. I think we're going to run them on. Let me double check my environmental rules. So at the start of each player's turn, choose 1 unit in the Ash Wastes. I roll d6 and I run 1. The ground shifts beneath them. Unit gains 1 pin. Well, because I have no units into the wastes yet, that does not apply. So what we're going to do is we're going to run them on. Let me see here. 16. They're fast 8. 16 would put them how far out? I don't want them. There's that stone thrower, which I'm concerned about, right? So over yonder. And I'd hate to see Guilford unit get smacked with that. That would be bad. Let me see where 18 inches would get them roughly. Yeah, I think I'll run. That also puts them right between these steam vents too. That's a big deal because these knights, with them being heavily laden and stuff, like although they're on war horses, a lot of my knights units aren't. that heavily laden roll is going to play a big part in this. So we'll have to wait. I think what I'm going to do is I need to make room. So I think what I'll do is I think I'll just I'll just bring them on normal 8. Let's see how that works out. Now, you know what? We'll do the 16. We'll run them on. So we'll give them a run order. I'm procrastinating too much. That's what the Earl would do. He would run on. So we're looking at here. Where's he at? Where you at, Earl?
Rise to the challenge.
Sure, Guilford. 16. He'll run on. Right up the gut. We'll flank him with his sons. Make sure I give enough room for everybody to get on here. And there we go. We'll give them a run order. Guilford's on the table. All right, for our next unit we'll bring on, let's see, I think we'll try to bring on, let's get our heavy hitters out there. I think we're going to bring on Sir Cratch's unit next.
Ready to serve, my
The Knights
lord.
lead the way, man. That's how it is. We're going to give them a run order too. I think what this Knight unit's going to do is, I think they're going to run, right, they're going to run, seeing what's going on here. They're going to run over this side, I think. Yeah, I think I'm going to put them right here. So we'll bring them on with, they're going to be double 8, which is 16. So I'll be able to bring, where's Cratch? Or, yeah, Sir Cratch. We'll bring him right up in here. I don't want him on this because then he's going to have to take an agility test to get up there. So 16 will take him right to there. Get up there, Cratch. Boom, boom, boom. They can veer off left or right on the flanks, deciding on where they got to go. Okay, that's 2 order dice right off the bat for them. Let me grab his plate so everybody knows it's a Sir Cratch. If you missed the other 2 episodes, Sir Cratch and Earl Guilford are in the mix. Going to go punch some orcs, or go punch some gnolls once and for all. Get them off the table. All right, next order die. Knights. Sometimes going first isn't that great, but we're going to kick them. Let me grab my cards out of the way here. We're going down here to this end. We're going to take advantage of that high ground. Now, these basalt ridges, they give +1 to shooting rolls when firing down at something. So, but they're rough ground to ascend or descend. But I'm going to bring in Yeoman Huff's archers in on this. We're going to see if we can get them up, or they're going to run up on top of that, this basalt ridge. Well, this is the ridge the gnolls want to go to. So they can move 10. I'm sorry, this is Yeoman Odo's archers. Huff's green and white. So let's take a look here. Let's see what we got. They're going to run for 10. Actually, let's see. They want to run, so they can go. Let me see if I go to here. They might not all get up there, but as long as they're within an inch of one another. So this is going to be. So they're going to go 6. They're going to go 6 right to here. and they're flipping and flopping around in this sand or in this ashen volcanic ash and rock, right? So they're really having a go at it here. So they're going to move up 6. Let me make sure everybody's fairly within 6 without cheating. Yeah. So 6. Well, no, we'll move them up. This guy can go up to 7. So we'll move up 7. 7 looks about right. 7. Now they're going to make a roll. Okay. So let's take a look at this. They need to make a roll. You can go up a little bit more. So let's make a roll over here. And let me pull out Odo's card. Now they're running, so I might as well just put that right here. But let's see here. I'm going to grab this card. All right. And they are going to be agility 5. So they have to roll a 5 or under. So if they pass, they can complete its move and move through the terrain without penalty. And then if they fail, of course, the unit can complete its movement, but the remaining portion is reduced by half. Okay, so they are agility 5. So we are looking for, all right, we're looking for 5 or under for Yamanota's unit. 5 or under. Just throw it up here. A 9, he doesn't make it. So he can only move half of what's left. So it's going to be 1.5 inches. They can move another inch. So basically, they'll be up here, roughly. Well, we'll get them right up on there. They failed their run. So they didn't get to the high ground. That's a big, we'll see what happens, but this environment's already playing a part in what is happening here, and they're bogged down, just like everybody else fears this land. Well, here's the reasons why, right? Okay, so they failed that. Going back to the die, going back to the bag. So basically, that's what we got here. They failed to make it up on the outcropping, which would have been great because now they have to make an agility test every time they move onto or off of this basalt ridge, and that's a big deal for the knights. Let's see what else we got going on here. And all my mounted knights are near those vents within 3 inches. That's not good. Okay, next up. Here we go. Gnolls. Oh, 1 second. I forgot to do one thing. The special environment is an ash drift hazard at the start of each player's turn. So when I did the Yeoman Odo's archers. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Odo has to roll. They get a roll. All right, I pulled the Gnolls, but for real quick, we have to do for Odo's archers, because we did have 2 units already in the ash fields. We have to roll a d6 on a roll of a 1. If on a roll of a 1, we have an environmental effect. So let's take a look at that. We have the 2 units here. We had these 2 units out. We had Cratch and Guilford's out on the field, and they're on the ash drift. They're in the ash waste. So we have to roll a d6 on a roll of 1. We have to choose one of the units to get a pin. Oh my. Okay, well, that's not good. We rolled a 1. We're going to give. I have to choose a unit. We're going to give Cratch's unit. He got a little too close to that sulfur vent. We're going to give him a pin. Cratch got a pin. Now the Gnolls got to do the same thing. So let's just do that now. I got my Gnoll die here, right here. I'll put that in here. And 1 to 6. A 1 on a d6. They're going to get a pin. A 2. They made it. They're okay. They're used to being out here flying around. They don't have such problems in the ash wastes, at least for now. So let's go over here to the Gnolls. What are we going to do next? What do the Gnolls want to do? Let's go with it. Let's get them up there. It's what they were hired to do. That's what they were hired to do. They're going to get introducing Thug, Thog, and Thag. It's an ogre unit. Three ogres in the unit. They're agility 5, accuracy 5, strength 5, resist 8. Pretty tough. They are initiative 7 and command 7. They are large. They have 2 hand-to-hand. They have frenzied charge. They are vengeful. So frenzied charge, they get +1 on attack on a charge. And vengeful means they must follow on if the unit wins a combat when possible. And they get double attacks in the follow-on combat. So if they win a follow-on combat, which they have to take, they hit double attacks in the follow-on combat, no matter what. But they're large, frenzied, and ugly. And they are going to move up, and they're going to do their thing. So the large rule, just to let you know, this is the first time we're going at. They're just massive compared to ordinary warrior units, right? When drawing a line of sight to to or from a large model, any non-large models between the shooter and the target can be ignored. However, bear in mind an artillery unit this large cannot shoot through the formation of regular-sized models at a target beyond unless shooting overhead. So that's like a rock thrower is just throwing overhead, has the overhead keyword. Um, that makes a difference for large. But large is when shooting at a unit of one or more large models, the shooter adds 1 to their accuracy value. So shooting them, you get more to your accuracy value when you're shooting. So that's just what it sounds like, right? So, but they're going to move 10 inches because they got a 5 move, just like any other unit. And Thog, and Thag are going to move on up under Pack Lord Varric's command and do what they do. Thug, Thud, Thog, and Thag. They run up. They see the knights coming. They're like, I don't think so. We must crush skulls. I should make a marker for them. Thud, Thog, and Thag. Not the brightest, but boy, they swing a mean club. We'll reflavor them. Essentially, let me see that I even have that set up so you can see it. Yeah, there you go. That's better. So Thud, Thog, and Thag moved up on a run charge. They're going to be armed with. These are going to be equivalent to huge axes. So they're what they are clubs that are embedded with stone and spiky bits, spiky points, right? So they're going to be strike value 2 with their attacks. All right. So we see those guys moving up. Let's get the bag out. Next order die. Uh-oh. What happened here? I flopped it right out of the bag. Next order die. Okay, more Gnolls. Okay, roll d6. On a roll 1, whoever's on the field gets a pin every turn. Any unit in the ash wastes. So here we go again. We are going to roll. That's to represent their die. Here we go. Roll of a 1. We're using the environmental special rule for ash drift hazard. A 3. They're good. Once again, Gnolls pulled off. Let's see who we're going to go with next. Let's take a look over here. Let's see. I see. I think we're going to go with this pack over here. I think we're going to go with the. I think we're going to go with the Gnoll tracker over here, and the hyenas. They're tough. They have rapid sprint. They're woodsmen. They're light armored. He has a chain mace, which reduces enemies' armor to a maximum bonus of +1. The hyenas are savage. They have rapid sprint and woodsman as well. So, savages, they reroll all misses the first time the unit fights in close combat. And of course, the Gnoll tracker's tough. He's tough 1. So he can re-roll one failed resist test. However, he can move because he has rapid sprint. He can move 20 inches. Him and his hyenas can move 20 inches. They can move instead of 3 times with a sprint. They can move 4 times, but they got to make an agility test. So let's move them. Let's move them their 20 inches. Get them into the fight. Let's see where I can put him. Let's see what he can do here. That looks good right there. Let's see if I can get him. We got 20 inches to move. That's pretty far. Let me see if I got that in frame for everybody. Of course I don't. So they're going to move up 20 inches, and they're going to be on the other side of that hill. Now, they have to make because they sprinted, they need to make an agility test for sprinting. Because, let's see if they tire themselves out running across this ash. And the Gnoll trackers are agility 5. So they need to roll 5 or under. They're going to roll 5 or under here, folks. Where they take a pin? Let's see what we get. 4. They're good. No pins. And the Gnolls are kicking it off, man. I don't know. I think the Knights, we'll move us back here. Okay. Here's the board so far. We still got some more to go here, but next order die. Knights. Okay, what do we got? We see a lot of movement over here. I think we're to come in this side. They see the hyenas coming on. We are going to make our D6 roll first off. With a 1, somebody's getting a pin. A 2, the Knights are okay. They've adjusted. They said, "Hey, what's your footing on this rocky waste? It's pretty sharp volcanic rock." And I think what we're going to do, I think we're going to bring in Sergeant. We're going to run on Sir Gerlig's Knights. I think we're going to bring on Sir Gerlig. Let's get him up in here. Sir Gerlig's on the field. He's got his maces. I just want to double check. There's nothing special with his unit. Yeah, Sir Gerlig of Walworth's coming up, and they are going to. So we're going to move them up 10. Bring them on 10. I'm just going to keep them on the carrier for now. I'll move them off as needed when necessary. Oh, the knights also the first 3 turns they get +1 for the morale. So I'm going to put this morale marker over here to Guilford, to show that Guilford's got that marker there. Okay, but this is for this turn. He gets +1 to his command or a check. All right, we're going to go to the bag again. Gnolls, get it out. D6 for the ash drift hazards. All right, somebody's getting a pin. Who's going to get it? Let's go over and take a look. Who am I going to get? Who's going to get the pin? We'll give a pin to the archers way over there. I don't know if you could see where I marked that, but I'll drift you over there. It's being hidden by a geyser, but these archers took that pin. So essentially, the ground shifts beneath their feet. You have Carapatus, the White Plume Mountain, shakes. And they lose their footing. Makes them uneasy. But I still get to move. I have my order die. Who am I going to move here next? I think what we're going to do is maybe get that stone thrower going and see what they can do here. So they're large also. They're slow 3. They can only move 3. Their movements of 3. Let's see if I can get them. Let's come over here with this. See if I can get a better view of the stone thrower over yonder here. They can move 3. If they make an agility test, they can probably get up onto this platform. But I'm not sure. I think what I might do is move. They're going to move 3. This should be 3 inches out between here. It's barely. I'm going to move this out just a little bit. Yeah, there's usually 3 inches in between everything. Just so you know. So they're going to move 3. This stone thrower is moving 3 out. They're going to get ready to get going. You got Varric said, get that stone thrower up there, man. Let's go. So we'll go to here, to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's right in the middle. Oh, let's see. He can. I don't think they can run. I think they're slow 3. I'm not sure if they can sprint or not. I don't think if they can. I'm gonna have to double check it. Let me check the rule and see if they can sprint. Let me double check. Oh, that just means they have to use a fire order in order to fire. That's all. They're large and slow, but it can move. It can sprint. So there's nothing restricting it. It's just slow 3. That's what takes it in consideration for its size. So they can go another 3 inches. So we're gonna move that sucker up another 3 inches. And we're gonna get him out of here before he gets killed. Yeah. It's just slow. He ran. Okay, here's a run order on them. Bing da bing da bing. Okay, you got this over here. He moved up in here, and you can get kind of the view of kind of the view of what the stone thrower is going to be able to see here. A lot. The stone thrower can go out to its short ranges at 10 to 30 inches and then 30 to 40. So this stone thrower is going to be working next turn. However, look where it's at. Right next to that vent. Ooh. Ooh, that's going to be rough. If that vent goes off. Ooh. Okay, back to the bag. Gnolls again. Let's go, fellas. You get a roll. You get a D6 for shifting. Let's see what you got here. Let's see what you get. D6 for ash drift hazard. Nope, they're good. So, here we are again. I think what we're going to do is get some of these warriors up here. Let's see if we can get these archers up on the high ground back here. Let's see if we get those guys up on the high ground. So, Gnoll archers are agility 5. So we're going to go right over to here. We're going to put this down here with Varric for now. So they're agility 5. They're going to move up. We're going to go with the closest one. He's going to move up an inch. We'll put him in base contact with 1. Then he needs to make they're going to run up onto this. So I think I'm doing this right. They're going to run up onto here. This is difficult terrain. So that's going to be 6 inches. This will be, no, 10 inches. Minus 1. Minus 1 would give them a 9 inches to move up here. So they'll all get up there. But we need to make an agility test so they can only move halfway, which would be 7. Yeah. So if it was 9 inches left, they get another 4 inches. The 4 inches would still get them up there, but let's see. They need to make an agility test, because that is difficult terrain to climb up that basalt monolith. I think you can see this. Let me bring it over here. And their agility is a 5. So it won't stop them from going. But let's see. 2. They rolled under. So they're good. They needed to roll a 5. They rolled a 2. So they can move the full of what's left, which is 9 inches. So plenty of space. They're all going to get up here. 1, 2, 3. Whoops, look out. 4, 5. We got Gnoll archers up on the monolith. Boy, it's going to get ugly for the knights, boy. They took a run order. Wow. Wow. Let me double check the rule for difficult terrain, but they didn't say anything about not being able to run on difficult terrain. So, I'm sorry, rough terrain. Yeah, it doesn't say anything at all. So the rules for Warlords of Erewhon is if it's moving into or out of rough terrain, you just got to make that. You have to make that test, right, against the unit's agility. So you can actually sprint through it too. It's just if you can complete the move if you pass it completely without incurring any penalty. But if you fail it, you get half of your remaining movement. So they made it up there, no problem whatsoever. Going to the bag. Let's see what we got here. Look out, I just killed Sir. Oh, wait, Knights. Got to roll. Check for pins. 2, they're okay. Make sure that's centered here. Okay. Pass. What knights am I going to bring on next? I think what we're going to do is, let's take a look down here and see. Might have made a mistake in this turn. I should have probably ran Odo's crew. Yeah, I should have maybe. I did run them on. I did run. That's right. They failed their roll. They would have made it up there. No, because that's a little bit further away. I could have sprinted them up there, but I don't want them to take any more pins. So what we're going to do is we're going to run on some archers up on that high ground over there. We're going to bring some archers in over here on that basalt monolith. And that's going to be Huff's unit. They're going to run. Let's get Huff over here. Take a look-see. So they're going to take the run. Let me get over here a little bit further, closer so everybody can see, okay? So Huff's unit's going to run on. He needs to make an agility roll. So basically, he's going to run on for 10. So they're going to come on for 3 inches up to here. I'll just put one here for now. So that's 3 inches. Okay. So that's 3 inches. Then I'll make the agility test for, so with 10, there'll be seven inches of movement left, but they need to make an agility test to see if they get, yeah, agility 5. So let's see what we get. Agility 5. 2, they're good. They can move the full 10 inches. So let's just get that going here then. Yeah, they're going to hold this high ground. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put one guy down here. 8. Look at 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Took a run order. That's going to be Yeoman Huff's longbowmen. They're in it. They're in it to get it. Okay. Back to the bag. Did I roll for? I did. Nobody got a pin. Nobody got a pin. That's right. I rolled a 2. Okay, back to the bag. Next up, Gnolls. You know what's coming. Gnolls pinnage. Here we go. Looking for, if they get a 1, shifting ash. 6, they're fine. Okay. What Gnoll unit are we going to go with next? Which one is next? Let's take a look. Let's go over here. I think we're going to bring these archers around. I think we're going to bring the archers around this steam vent. And they're going to go 10. Because I'm not risking running in this ash, because if they have to make a roll. So the archers are command 8, but they have 1 pin, so they're command 7. They need to roll 7 or under because they already took a pin. They already took a pin for the shifting sands. That's right, I forgot. They were punished. So let me put this over here. We can get a better look over here. There we go. So they need to roll a 7 or under, and I'm grabbing the wrong die here. Their command 8, -1, 7 or under. 4, they're okay, so they get to move. It's another reason not to give them another pin. if they sprinted. So we're going to go, let's do it this way. Grab my shoulder thing here. I'm going to bring them around here. You know what? I think what I'm going to do is bring these guys and give them the high ground because they're such poor shots. Why would they not try to climb up that? Now that the stone thrower is out of the way. So 5 inches will take him to its base, take him to right here. They're going to make an agility test. They have to make an agility test, and their agility is a 5. They don't suffer anything because of the pin, but they're going to make an agility test here to get up on that. That makes better sense. So you're looking for 5s or under. A 10, that's a massive fail. So they only get, they moved 5, they have 5 left over, so they can move 2 more inches. And 2 more inches is going to get some of the unit up there, maybe. Let's move these guys 5. Yeah, he has to go over here anyway. He's going to go 5, 5, 5. Well, he can go over here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The stone thrower thing's is the key. So these guys can only move. They're half. The rest of they only have 5 inches left, and they didn't make their agility test, so they're looking at 2 inches. Because half of 5 is 2.5. Don't count the half, so it's 2 inches. So 2 inches. 2 inches will get him up to here. 2 inches will get him to the base. 2 inches will get him to here. 2 inches will get him to here. We only have 1 archer up on top. So, well, that's a thing. They took a run order. And that's that. Okay, you grab the bag. Back to the bag. All right, Gnolls. What do we got here? Let's take a look down this path of Gnolls. I think we're going to bring the Gnoll guard in. Or no, we're going to move these warriors up. We'll keep them in. We'll keep these guys in reserve. So, I need to roll D6 for the. I forgot. I got to take a pin off of one of the Gnoll units because the first failed order because of the Gnoll special rule for Sur's Fury. So I'm going to bring this back over to here real quick. We'll catch up on this rolling. So let me go over here real quick. It didn't have an effect on the game because over here it says no time to bleed. First pin their warband receives is ignored. So we're going to take this off, get it off, and then we're going to go over here and take that pin off those archers because they're the only ones that got a pin. So that's going to go away, but it didn't have an effect anyway because they passed their order test. So it doesn't matter, but we'll get rid of that pin. Okay. So remember that. Pretty soon those factors won't be in play. But we do have to make we have to see if we reapply a pin. I gotta roll a d6 on the new order die, which is see if they pass the Gnoll's turn this time, see if anybody gets a pin. No. Okay. they're fine. So we're going to go back into moving this unit here, and they're going to sprint for 15. That's what we're going to do with this Gnoll unit here. We're going to bring them around 15 and get them into the scrap. So I'll take the clearest one. 5. We'll do it this way without getting too much. 5, 10, 15. Now they sprinted. They're coming up into the cut. They've come around. They're coming into the cut. Okay. So they're coming into the cut. Now they need to make a agility test, and I don't remember what their agility is. I think their agility might be a little bit better. Their agility is 5 or under. Let's see what they do here. 7 to take a pin. Okay, 1 pin comes off, another pin goes off, and they can't ignore that one because that special roll for the Gnolls has already been used. The first pin was the archers. Run order, they sprinted and ended up taking a pin. All right, going back to the bag. And we got knights. Going back over here to the knights. Let's see what we got. All right. And I think what we're going to do here is I think we're going to bring on some more knights. D6. D6 for the Astrif Hazard. Nope. Going to bring the knights on. We're going to run on some knights. We're going to bring Sir Gosset's unit in. We're going to run them on. They're heavily laden, so they can't. So 10 inches. Yep, 10 inches. Sir Gosset's knights are back on. They did a run order. They can't sprint because they're heavily laden. And they're not on any type of horseback or war horses. So, we do that. And then we're going to go back to the bag. Gnolls. Well, we don't have much left to choose from over there. We're going to roll for the Astrif Hazard right now. Let's do that. I think you could see that. Let me double check. Yeah, we'll put it here. Two. They're good. They don't take a pin. Nothing reverberates under their feet. Let's see. Let's get some. What do we got left over here? Not too much anyway in the ways of units. I think we're going to bring the shaman up. I think we're going to bring Imor up. Imor's going to have to do something this time because he kind of laid back last time. We'll run him up 10 inches. Get him into the game. So we're looking at about right. Let's try that again. Here, Imor. So we're looking about there. 10 inches for Imor and his crazy Spirit dogs, spirit hyenas. Give him a run order. Maybe come up and deflank a little bit. Okay. Boy, it's shaping up to be a heck of a route too. But I think the Gnolls are in pretty good shape. Who have we got here? Next. Knights. So I think I'll just bump this up to here. We got some more knights that need to come on. So what do we got? First, let's roll for the knights. For the Ash Drift Hazard. Nope, 6 again. Wasting them 6s, man. I think we're gonna run up Sergeant Otha's unit over here. Sergeant Otha. Grab his card here real quick. Sergeant Otha's gonna get into the fight. Let's get his unit up there. 10. Oh, hey, Otha, you're going the wrong way. Turn around, man. He's going to get ready to be slapping some gnolls around. They're new to combat. They took a run order. Just got his spears out there. Back to the bag. Gnolls. Here's the roll. Looking for no 1. Well, they don't want a 1. A 3, they're okay. They're going to do their thing now. Let's go take a look and see what we got left. We got some warrior unit over here. We got 2 warrior units left. Let's swing this over this side. Take a peek at these warrior units. Yep. You got some axemen. We got some swords. I think what we're going to do is, he shouldn't be up here though. Yeah, he should be down here because I didn't make an agility roll for them, so I'm going to put him in the back. We're going to go with. We're going to run these guys up. So we're going to go 5, 10. Right before that. Bring these guys up. Give them a run order. Okay. Back to the bag. Ain't much left for the first round. Knights. Let's do their test real quick. Uh-oh. Ground moves. Ground shifts. The ground shifts beneath their feet. Look out. A vibration emanates from the mountain. Tremor of some sort. One of the units that are on the table is going to get a pin. Who's it going to be? Who is it going to be? Let's see. Who do I give a pin to? Let's see. Let's give it to the Yeomanhof's Bowman. Don't know if that's a good choice or not. They're up on Basalt Monolith. We'll give it to them. We get another night unit coming on, or another Shieldland unit coming on. I think it's going to be Father Abuziel coming in. He's going to run up, and he's coming up. You know where he's going, right up the gut. Good old Father Abuziel, right? He's coming in. Him and his supplicants. They're running up. This fella here is just a marker for flavor. for for his patron deity Heronius. Okay, I forgot to put my die down. He ran in. All right, there's another pin going on in the Knights too. It's just not working, man. They're getting. All right, we have a couple dice left, so let's see what we got. We have Knights again. This time we're going to bring in. Oh, we get a roll again. Please, no more pins. The Knights suffering. They're like, hey, wait a second. This is tougher than we thought. 2, they made it, just barely. There was a rumble, but they pulled through. We're going to bring in Sergeant Olivard's swordsman. Bring them in 10 inches. They're running onto the table. And there they go. They run on. Sergeant Olivard is on the table with the run order. Okay. And then we have, what's that doing up there? We have Knights again. The last Knight unit, Sergeant Rundle. Sergeant Rundle's come on. He's finally finished lunch. Decides to get involved. Let's run another room here. Let's bring Sergeant Rundle's unit on. Did I roll for them? I gotta roll and see. I think I did, but I'll check again. Uh-oh. I can't remember if I rolled for him or not. Yeah, so I did double check. I didn't roll. Rundle, I got to give a pin out to another unit. So let me go over here. I will put them in place first. He's running onto the table. So he'll be lined up with Sir Jerlig's unit. Basically coming up here. Rundle ran on. Now I got to give out a pin. So another pin in the Knights. Man, they're just getting woof. Smushed. We'll give it to Odo's unit this time. Odo will take that pin. Okay. And Rundle's unit came on here so we can see. All right, we are almost getting. And we have. Well, there's only 2. They're 2 Gnolls. So we're going to roll to see if they take a pin from the shifting, from the ash drifts. Oops, what am I rolling there? Here, that's for this pin. So let's see. 5, no. And I'll just do this one now too to see how many pins we have to give out. And no. So they're good. They did good. They only took 1 overall. So we're going to move these last 2 Gnoll units here. Get them. And we're going to move these warrior units up. Are going to run. I am not going to sprint them because I don't want more pins on them. So it's 5, 10. We'll put that unit right about here. So they'll be running right about here. So we'll move them up. We'll run them around this geyser vent. And then for the last, but not least, is Pack Lord Varric himself. And he'll advance up to just behind He's within an inch, outside of an inch, with his 2 bodyguards standing behind. He'll take an advance order. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the results of round 1. The results of round 1, the Ash Winds on the Plume Mountain, on the Plume Road. We have Sergeant Rundle's unit moved up. We have Sir Jerlig unit. Sir Jerlig has moved up on the left flank. We have Odo's unit took a pin because of the shifting sands. We have Sergeant Olivard bringing up the rear. Sir Cratch took a pin for the shifting sands. So the environment's playing havoc with the knights. Earl Guilford, he's going up the gut as usual. He's going after nothing but honor and glory here. Sir Gossett is here. He moved up. Yeoman Huff took a pin, okay, on a run order coming up because of the shifting, all of this nasty ash drift hazards. And Sergeant Oath is here. And then over here we have the stone throwers moved up. We have a unit of gnolls trying to get up on top to get the high ground. We have the 3 ogres, the 3 brother ogres here. They're coming up to fight. We have a Gnoll warrior unit here. We have Pack Lord Varric overseeing everything from behind as usual. We have a really good we have a Gnoll unit of archers up on top. They're in prime position to lay arrow storms down upon these knights. And we have a guard unit here with huge swords. We have another warrior unit here with axes and shields. We have the scout unit up here ready to charge in and tear up some horses. And then we have Imor himself sitting here. So that's it for round 1 of Ash Winds on the Plume Road. That's what we got going on. Round 2 is going to get brutal. It's going to be make or break. A lot of stuff going on. Don't forget, we have this narrative starting on round 2. We have to make a roll. There could be an ash drift collapse, a steam burst, a Caraptus's echo, things going on, plus all the other environmental rules that we got. So those are all going to still be in play on top of all this. And I got to take a look at honor points when we come back and see if I could use any honor points maybe to get rid of some of these pins. And we'll go over that at the beginning of round 2. Whether they take the pins or not is irrelevant. We'll take a look and see what we can do with them honor points to see if we can help the knights out. Okay, we'll see you in round 2. Thank you.